What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Sunday CarCast. This is a show where we work on something, but I mainly try and focus as much as possible on comments and answering your guys' questions. Today, I've got my drag car here on the table. We built most of this on the live stream a while back. We actually did some wiring work on one of these, I believe one of the streams afterwards. But this is my undercover drag wings Renegade chassis on an associated DR10 base for the most part. It started as a DB10, and then I did the arm swap and all that to convert it because the DR10 wasn't around when I initially did this conversion. And I did get the body back from Moose Jaw, which you guys saw in the thumbnail, but I hadn't actually posted this yet. But this is the body that Moose Jaw painted for me. It's the Proline Cuda body. He hand painted my crown logo on it, 37, my lucky number. Did a patinaed paint job, and it looks amazing. Now, I haven't actually done the body mounting for it yet. That's something else that has to get handled still. But as far as it sitting on the chassis itself, pretty sweet. So Moose Jaw did a killer job on this. He did the gunmetal hood. I still have to put some of the decals on the grill. And the tail lights, stuff like that. But I also need to do a wing still, and like I said, actually get it mounted to the chassis. But that's not what we're doing today. Today, I got some parts sent to me by RC Speed Secrets. They sent me some super beefy aluminum or titanium turnbuckles with like a knurled finish, and then some fancy wheel nuts. And they sent me a super badass titanium hardware set in blue. So this stuff's supposed to be a super high quality titanium. Now this is a B6.1, B6.2 kit. So it is not exactly for a DR10. And I've got a chassis here with a bunch of extra hardware that's not in the normal kit. So I won't be able to replace everything. I'm just gonna go through and kind of put the hardware where I can, see where it fits, and just kind of play around with it because the hardware itself is pretty amazing. Definitely going to hold on to anything that I can't replace because definitely find a use for it in the future. And I don't think we'll probably get through all of that today just because basically to do this hardware swap, I'm removing most things, and even just doing the turnbuckles is going to take a while as well. So yes, that's the plan for today, or the plan for the direction, at least. That's what's going on. Thanks everybody for checking in. See everybody's logging on. Appreciate it. Sunday morning, the time change made this a little earlier for us all, and I'm not an early person as it is. So, hey Travis. Hope all is well. Yes, I know the stream is for escape. I want to say sorry. So anybody who was normally watching for Friday's stream, we lost our cat Peanut on Friday. So it was a rough weekend for Nicole and I both. And yeah, kind of getting back to a little bit of normal because this weekend has definitely not been that. But yeah. So that's a little bit of what's going on. You know, it's a part of it, but sucks regardless. He was 15 or so. So yeah, you know, he was a good cat. But yeah, that was what Friday was. I made a post on Instagram. Actually, I think I actually did one on YouTube as well. But I know those things don't always pop up. So we're gonna start with the front end on this thing. Grab a block. Yeah, no, I know what we appreciate it. It was, like I said, it was a rough weekend, but it's kind of how it goes. Something that we, anybody who's pet owners understands, and you gotta do what you gotta do. Bummer of a weekend, but like Travis said, RC cars are a little bit of an escape today, which is fine. We are going to trying to think of what the best plan of attack for this is. Like I said, I can't replace everything in this, so I don't need to take apart the whole car because anything through the center I'm not going to be able to replace with the new hardware. So I'm really only working with the front. I guess it might just be easiest to take the whole front assembly off. We'll see. Live from the grocery store line. Steve, perfect. Hope you have your AirPods in. Yeah, this should be pretty easy to take apart the front of this. And a couple under here. Oops. Or do I need that? No. Yeah, we'll bring that moose jaw body back up here soon. What's going on here? Yeah, drag car stuff. You know, and I think drag car definitely seems to be mainly for show over here since, well, I haven't driven the new chassis yet. Now, granted, I still have to put a wing on the body and mount the body and then all that, but still. What was the burnout rule in Vegas? Saw two guys get DQ'd for non-carpet burnouts on a... So the rule is that there was a carpet and then you could only do a burnout on the carpet or behind it. You could use the pavement, but you couldn't do anything in front of the carpet. And they were super clear about that. And they were just, yeah, 0 tolerance. So if you did any sort of, if your wheels rotated at all up at the line or anywhere past the carpet in general, it was a DQ. That was all there was to it. And it just, so it was, I mean, it was crazy. Even if someone just grabbed their car and kind of went, and they just kind of touched the throttle, it just blipped. They were just like, nope, you can't do it. And they were just, like I said, 0 tolerance about it, which is the best way to be. It just sucks if you're the one with that has the brain fart and you DQ yourself and lose your $100 possibly in the first race. And it happened to a lot of guys. So sucks for them for sure. All right, I'm gonna open up this titanium hardware. The whole hardware kit just weighs nothing. And again, these parts are all from RC Speed Secrets. Shot a staple at myself. I've got a link in the description to my website where right now it's just a whole placeholder page, but I'll update it with all the parts that I've got on here. Now, one other thing about this whole hardware kit is that every baggie is labeled, but not with the size, but with where it goes, which is crazy. Like the amount of effort that takes on every bag. I mean, here, camber plate, like individual bag with the label still, and every single one of them, front shock tower, 4 screw. It's just, that is crazy. So, hey Josh, have you heard about the whole EPA and motorsports thing that is going on? Cleese McFarland made a comment about it on. So Dominic, yeah, I watch most of the Cletus McFarland videos. Just he's one of the YouTubers I really enjoy. And I saw like he had a pinned comment in his last video. And I went and I signed the petition. If any of you are interested in full-size motorsports stuff, you could go sign the RPM Act petition. I don't know where it's being posted on Facebook and all that. Anyway, so yeah, interesting. I haven't read up on everything, but still, just over 18,000 to the winner, and he's getting his wife new cabinets with the money. So yeah, and he is actually he's kind of not too far from me. They're actually racing today over in Antioch, but I just it wasn't the weekend for me to decide to go make the trip. It just wasn't feeling it. So that's why I'm staying close. That'd be fine. So let's see if one of these bags says anything about the bell crank. Like I said, this is actually for a steering block arms. Would those be the steering block arms? It seems about right. They're 2 millimeters shorter. Servo and servo mount. Top plate. Shock tower. Wing mount. Let's see. Front wheel lock. Caster block top. So, like I said, we're going to kind of go through this a little bit because this is actually for a different kit. He doesn't have a DR10 one yet. I imagine that at some point he probably will, but yet he doesn't. Is that where the... lubing those bearings before? I don't have any bearings I'm installing today. This is just hardware. I did ceramic fast eddy bearings when I initially was working on my DR10, so I haven't done anything since then. Vanquish could do that. Yeah, that right there is a ton of work to label baggies individual like that. Whew. Even if you don't follow 101 Motorsports, you should still sign the petition to defend. Yeah, I agree. You should find the petition somewhere online. It's called the RPM Act as far as what they're petitioning for, to retain motorsports kind of rights. So, Adam, thanks about peanut. We appreciate it. Someone's at the shop that let me drive. Oh, the Rift. Yeah, the Rifts are rolling out, and you know, unfortunately, there is a bit of the same issues that we had with the front axle housing. Where's mine? You know, it appears that the issue that I had and Greg had wasn't a fluke. We both broke axle housings within a few battery packs, and it's kind of going that way. But I think it sounds like I did talk to Axial this week, and they do have revised axle housings and a plan in place for customer service. So hopefully anybody who has it, they'll have the fix for them before too long, and everything will be... It's an unfortunate rollout, that's for sure. And those things happen sometimes with products. It is an absolute bummer. So now, this is not those. I don't know if I see a direct replacement for this. Got my Rift. Don't run 50C packs. Needs 100C. So yeah, that's I could see it starting to pull more amps than that. It also depends exactly on how reliable the C rating is on a pack, because they're not always... There is no like standard to C ratings, and people like to just fluff a number and throw big numbers on their batteries. So, all right. I wonder if... Let's see what the knuckle ones are. Where does the name Vanquish come from? You know what? That was before I was at Vanquish, and I think it was just a name, a word that they liked. I don't think that there's, you know, I think it just came from a word that they liked, that they truly liked the actual. It was a 50C gen size. Huh. Was it like a 5,000 pack? Because I mean, I guess that could be pushing. It's only 100 amps. Evan Moore, wouldn't they catch a defect in testing? It seems like a common enough issue to address before releasing the truck. So Evan, here is a possible scenario. The factory could have, you do all your testing months before the release of a product, right? Well, if by chance the factory did not send the initial test samples in the same material as the actual production run products were, which has happened a lot, in RC, then that could absolutely that could cause the issue. So having a factory swap materials on you for something that's possibly cheaper, or is just, is something that they had available instead, and it's a different percentage of nylon infill, or it's a different, material entirely. It can happen, and that could be what happened, because that would be something that would just completely throw a wrench in any of their plans for any of the testing that they had actually completed. 4S seems crazy for the. I agree, Musha. When I was shooting video of it, I brought my 4S packs, and filming it on 3S, I was just like, I can't deal with any more power than this, especially while trying to film and keep it even somewhat controllable. Because on 3S, the Rift is just a rocket. And I know I said that in the video. I don't know that people believed me, but it's just like 3S is way plenty of power. Just bought a 3S 5100C battery. Just arrived yesterday. Perfect. Almighty great one. Well, actually, they'll discontinue the SCX-10 II. What do you think of the new SCX-10 III? Enjoy your day. Appreciate it. Eventually, of course, the SCX-10 II will be discontinued. I don't think that it will be for a while. I think that the SCX-10 II is actually still such a great car. It's still one of my favorites. Honestly, if I could only have one between an SCX-10 II and an SCX-10 III, I would still choose an SCX-10 II. I prefer driving the SCX-10 II personally. I think it's just a little bit nicer of a platform in some ways with how everything is low, and I should say with driving it. I prefer the SCX-10 II in that way. I think it just drives better. But let's see, front shock tower. This is the front shock tower. This I'm still keeping. So I don't know when it will happen, but I don't think it'll be right away, because I think that the SCX-10 II and SCX-10 III are actually so different that it doesn't. They are a competitor to each other, of course, but I don't think that they're as much of a direct competitor as people would assume. Is actually going to make another Wraith, or is the Wraith a lost cause now? I think the Wraith is long gone. Yeah, I don't think that there will ever be another. I think that if they did anything else, it would be like another or a newer bomber or something like that. But the Wraith itself is, I don't think that there's any, the Wraith, it's the Wraith and the bomber are just names of full-size chassis. So if there was another chassis, it would just be something like one of those called something else. The Wraith isn't a class of vehicle or anything like that. They probably won't cancel the SCX 10.2 until they make a RTR 10.3 straight axle. That's actually a really good point, trustees RC. At the same time, I think that the cost will still be so much higher than the 10.2 that I don't know if they will. Because the SCX 10.2 is just, it's such a simple car to build. As far as like, not just as a user, but like as a company, with how many more parts are in an SCX 10.2, the SCX 10.3, the transmission and all of that. Honcho 10.3 straight axle. I would absolutely hope for another Honcho style. Cost is exactly why I don't own a 10.3. I own a 10.3 and I like it. I just don't love driving it like any of the 10.2s or anything like that. I just don't. It's a little more clunky. Josh, can you tell me why the VS410s aren't available through Horizon dealers? I would love to order when I put my order. Adam, I believe that's a Horizon choice that they make. But it may be because they could offer it through dealers. That's not something we restrict by any means. Horizon's a distributor of us, but we can't give as much margin on kits as we can on regular parts, which is common throughout the RC industry. But it might not satisfy Horizon's structure for distribution to hobby shops too. So that would be the only reason, because it's nothing that we have. You cannot sell. We just want hobby shop. We want all the hobby shops to buy them, right? So top plate. I think that will be this. Like the Red Dragon or the Dragon Slayer. Yes, those are two other chassis. They used a SCX-10-3 on the Masked Singer last night to bring the results of the cat. I actually got some photos of that sent to me. I think that was last Wednesday. Because it was funny. Someone had sent me a screenshot. They were watching Matt and I's live stream on their phone, and their wife was watching the Masked Singer on the TV. And it was like, there's an RC car on that one, but not on this one. And this one's about RC cars. So, Can you run a 4S on a Mamba X with a ROC 412 HD? Yes, you can. Well, note, ROC 412 3100 is not meant for 4S. So you are going against Tekin's recommendations by running that motor on there. However, I do it all the time, and they run great. I've been running it on 4S for like over 2 years. Runs great. How does this know? How does this guy know all this? He works for RC industry. How does this guy know all this? He works for RC industry. What have you? I don't know if that's a question for sure or not, but yes, I do work for the RC industry, in the RC industry, specifically at Vanquish Products. If you weren't aware, I do not hide any of these details. Ten-2 Builder's Kit was the best idea Axial had. The 10-2 Builder's Kit's just a fantastic base that comes cheap, and you can go from there. I just took my 10.3 for its maiden crawl and promptly snapped off a portal box. That's a bummer. 10-2 Builders... sorry, read that one already. Well, my son got a Rift. He's out working in a towboat. Neener. A towboat? Toad Daddy, aren't you... Oh, does he not live local to you? Because you live in Missouri. And unless it's on the river. Is he working in the Mississippi? Okay, thanks. I figured it had something to do with... Yeah. As far as if you order from Swift, Adam, that we distribute them through there as well. But yeah, sorry. I don't have any other help for you there. Or you can always contact Vanquish and set up it. But I know if you're trying to order through one, I know it's just easier. So, why are there no straight axle drag cars? Would it just not work? I don't think it would not work. I think for one, it's been the easiest method to use cars that were already tooled up and then go from there. But also, I don't think that you could get it. As much as they work better in the full size world, I don't know the complexity in RC cars to take a straight axle with a drive shaft that has a ring and pinion, the torque twist it would introduce versus a motor that rotates in the same way as the axles. You will have much less torque twist. So I think that these just work so much better. I think that to do a true, like, cool straight axle realistic drag car would be super fun. I just don't think it would work nearly as well, or possibly very, very difficult. Yes, he works on a riverboat on the Mississippi. Okay, that makes sense then. I would take his Wraith then and go play with it. You can try to go to test You're going to try to go to testing today in Roseville. New guys running 916 group and free testing till 3. Moose Jaw, I highly doubt that because I still have to put a wing on the back of that body and mount the body. That's still, I don't think, I'm not going to make it. I would have gone to Antioch today, but so, I think I've got most of the screws I can replace on this front done. Well, I don't 100% know that because there's screws here labeled with things that I don't know what they mean. I know some of these are just a little shorter than I would want to swap. If there was a true DR10 kit from RC Speed Secrets, that would be awesome because you could replace so much more. But even this stuff looks so good. What degree front bulkhead is that? Manny, that's a great question, and I have absolutely no idea because I am not very knowledgeable at this side of what I'm doing. And it goes in this our Undercover Drag Wings Renegade chassis, which runs it flat. So the arms are all flat. So I don't even know that it matters. How much have you spent so far? How much money have you spent on RC so far? $1 million? Definitely not $1 million. No way possible that. Man, I wonder if I started RC in 2004. So that is 17 years ago. Okay. And I had no money to spend on RC for years, really. I mean, I graduated college 2006, started working in 2007. And maybe at that time it was $100 a month for a while. I was just out of college. I just got a good job, but like I had real world bills to catch up on. So man, say $100 a month, it's $1,200 a year. And then if you went up exponentially to where we are now, I mean, still it wouldn't be that much. Maybe 100,000, maybe over 17 years. I don't know, not that much. I don't know. Let's not talk about it. Now, I guess that's another question though, is how much have I spent even like, and then because I'll spend it and then sell it and spend it and sell like that it could add up. I could see it. I don't want to do that math. This is bad math. Do you have trucks that you just go to the trail and drive for fun and not for a video or comp? Yeah. Well, I mean, do I do that? Yes. I would say that maybe 60% of the time I go out, I video and post it. But the rest of the time, like if I'm going out with some friends and we're just kind of screwing around, then yeah. But even so, I still take the trucks that you guys see, my VS410 Pro is just the truck that I take for that though, because I love the way it drives and it's so dependable. I don't even bring spare parts with me. It's just always been super dependable. So it's just the truck. And I feel bad because if I'm going on a trail ride, it's like, this is the truck. I just grab it and I go. And then I'm just like, man, this is the only one I shoot this video of. And I feel bad for that reason, but I'm just like, it's just the one that, it's the one that gets picked up. 1,200 a week. Does Nicole know? 1,200 a week. I mean. Okay. Why are these IFS cars so awkward to work on? I line up 9 levels of junk. I do realize that I also need to pull the turnbuckles off, but it felt like it was better to just put this back on first. do not go down the rabbit hole about adding up your entire expenditure in RC. Oh, especially if you started including like traveling to events, and that could get dangerous. VS410 Pro is next on my list. Buddy has one. It looks sick. I love driving it. That's why I do it. Since COVID started, I've bought 6 new RCs. Man, I think that you're in a club there, because there's a lot of people buying new RCs during all this. Hey Josh, where can I find this photo of the SCX-10 on the Mass Sync? I would have to, I'd have to, I know it's been posted on Facebook as well. I can't remember. I'd have to try and find what message it was sent to me in too. Trusty's RC crawling. I'm every bit of 25K since the buggy racing days in 06's plus the early years of crawling. Mind you, with the hobby for 7 years. Yeah, especially racing, that's another level of having to spend too. Like the amount of tires you burn through. I mean, So I'm going to start breaking into these turnbuckles. There you go. Hey, Tor, thank you very much. Everyone, Josh, good to catch you live again. Long time no knocks. Did 10-3 straight axle on VS410 yesterday. Your earlier live was helpful. Cool. Yeah, that was a fun little one. It's still sitting here next to me. I don't really have a plan for it. So these turnbuckles come with a drill bit. And I'm guessing that these are a larger thread, but we're going to find out. What kind of electronics do you suggest for a VS410 Pro? I mean, my typical setup, I either run a Castle Mamba X and a Holmes Polar Pro 2700, kind of one of my favorite setups. Or I've got a Tekin RX4 and a Rock 412 HD 30, or not non-HD, just Rock 412 on 3100 kV. So those are my two kind of go-tos. I've been running a lot of the Polar Pros lately. Just kind of like this. Chibs, thanks for joining, sir. Good seeing you. Josh, do you have a plan on attending Jefferson State, the Squirrel Fest this year? I mean, probably. I haven't seen dates for it or anything like that, but that would be one that I would be interested in going to again for sure. Let's see, does this wrench fit these? Nope. One side's too small, one side's too big. This is the RC Speed Secrets turnbuckle wrench, but it's for theirs, which are slightly different sized. So we'll pull these off and do some adjusting. I have an SCX-10-2 Wraith 19 Bomber. Should I get a VS410 or a 3D printer next? You know, that's only something you can answer. I have both and spend a lot of time with both. So that I always forget that one turnbuckle is backwards because of turnbuckle things. This is what you get when you have a crawler guy who tries to go fast. Okay. Nope, wrong side. I used to race full-size desert short oval racing in the UK. In the UK, and had to add all that up. I spent full size. That's like if I tried to add up all the motorcycle days. Those were expensive. And you're going to beat the creek in May. That's the one on the East Coast, right? So I need to find... I guess these don't have to be exactly the same length, do they? These are close. Show you guys try and show you the difference here. So the one on the, what is that? You can tell. The little one is an Associated. The big one is the RC Speed Secrets. It is a larger thread on the RC Speed Secrets one, so obviously that's where they're getting some of that strength. And I'm guessing that is why they're sending the drill bit, is to open up the rod ends, which I guess we're doing. So, I wonder if RC Sparks took Kevin Talbot's eBay class. Oh, ouch. I don't necessarily enjoy either of that, but that's pretty funny. Don't love drilling rod ends out, but come on. Okay. All right. So now let's reassemble. I don't remember how you're supposed to tell which. I think you're like supposed to put all of your tie rods going one way. I don't remember. Turnbuckles, not tie rods. Whatever. Words. I was going to get into drag cars. What's the platform to start with? I mean, the easiest way is to pick up an Associated DR10, just because everything you need is in the box. You know, you can basically start running right away and then adjust from there. So just getting into it, that would be my suggestion. All right, that's one. This one, we got to go the other way. I got it. Alex late, but never. But better late than never. What? How's it go? Okay. No more STL Sundays. Have to go back and watch reruns. Yes, I do miss that a little bit, but not as much as this show does. So infinitely better that I don't think it will be making a return. Whoops. My 3-year-old won't stop laughing when you say turnbuckle. Why is that funny? What kind of carpet was used at King of the Street? Oh, for the Burnout? Berber? I don't know. I think it was like it's the type of carpet you'd find in like an office building. So, you know, low nap, durable carpet. I've never thought I would be asked that. It's a great... Okay. I got that pretty close. I'm going to snap these on. And Dale C. Pretty appreciate it, sure. Would offset diff capper portals work on a Pro? Did you finish the NTSB report? How's everyone holding up this weekend? So... If you, short answer on the capper thing, yes, kind of. I was doing that Road to the Scale Nationals series last year before Nationals got canceled. And I was putting a set of offset capper portals on the front of a custom build, but it used a VFD transmission. So the problem is that there is no panhard mount. There is some screws on the back side of the axle, some screw holes on the back side of the axle location, so that you can make a very simple one. And I think that would work just fine. So I ended up going an even simpler route. You can find it all in that little video series, but short answer, yes, but excuse me. And no, I did not finish the NTSB report yet. It may be something that I put on after I get done with this stream, because, well, it's either listen to the NTSB report about the bridge collapse, FIS bridge collapse, or watch Matt's live stream. I don't know. NTSB report sounds pretty entertaining to me. But maybe I'll go watch Matt's. Although I will say I haven't seen him join here yet. Just so I'm saying. I'm just saying. Yes, and for anybody who didn't know, Matt is doing a live build this afternoon. Well, yes, this afternoon. Should be afternoon almost anywhere. 3 p.m. Eastern. And he's building a VS410 Pro. Pro or Ultra? I can't remember. I think it's a Pro. Phoenix. Thanks, sir. Oh, and Dale, yes, it's appreciate the sentiment. Everything's going here. It's just, it's weird after all of your routines are a little off. You're always looking around for them, but it's the way it happens, unfortunately. Wouldn't trade any of it though. Pets are great. Okay, so I think all of these turnbuckles are actually the same length, so that makes that easy. All right, we got to continue to drill these out. Why? I don't know why that lock or the direction thing on this just gets kicked ever so slightly and it won't. When you quit YouTube, will you sell your rigs on eBay? Adam, you know what? It looks like it's the way to go to me. I'm not gonna lie. I think it works out the best. So yes, when I quit YouTube, I will be selling all of my trucks on eBay. Other than my Ripper, which is in the other room, and then the one on the top shelf that isn't seen. I was just like joking about that one on the top shelf. I'm going to sell my rigs on MySpace. Never quit YouTube till the day you die. You know what? It's going to be the world's worst blog when I get older. It's going to be the same stories I've told you guys all a million times. Because I'll just tell them all in the same episode again and again, because I will have forgotten. And the right way this time. Our Sparks deleted all his listings on eBay. Anybody know? Oh, that's weird. He deleted them before they ended? Huh. Can it get worse? I know you're working on a drag car, but here in Alberta, Canada, not too many I have found in my area. That is I totally get that, that was something like in the Midwest when I started crawling. So like when I started crawling in 2004, there wasn't crawling in the Midwest. Like there wasn't crawling hardly anywhere, but anything that was really a gathering was always west. So, you know, for a long, long time, it was just you had to make do by yourself. And even if you're by yourself, if you get this little Sky RC piece here, this little GPS module, it makes drag racing by yourself still very fun. Because it gives you times, you have benchmarks, you can tell if you're going faster or not. With this little unit, drag racing by yourself is still completely fun. So, still highly getting a drag car, all the parts, just absolutely budget for that little Sky RC GLONASS, some shit like GNSS. It's called different things, different places. All right. It doesn't help that the Midwest is just flat. That's exactly right. It's I picked a weird thing to be. I picked, you know, becoming fascinated with rock crawling while living in Nebraska, which is where I lived when I started, is an odd thing, you know. It's like wanting to be a oceanographer in Des Moines. So interesting. Okay. I am. These are the same length too. They're just longer. That's okay. Just trying to make sure that I get all this stuff equal length. These right now are longer, and these things are beefier. They won't go over the rod end as much, so I'm gonna either have to trim down this rod this rod end. Interesting. Did you ever come up to Sioux Falls, South Dakota to crawl at the falls back in the day? So God, did I ever go to the Sioux Falls area to crawl? I can't remember. I've been to Sioux Falls a ton of times. I just can't remember if I ever went there to actually do any RC. I don't know that I did. So yeah. Where is my block? There it is. It's blocked by my keyboard. There's a dude that runs Baja Bills and sand cars from Nebraska. Well, for those that don't know, the western part of Nebraska is called the Sand Hills. So, there you go. Hey Josh, did you get ASX24? I actually have like 3 or 4 of them. I know you never see them on here, but I have a big, huge thing of SCX24 parts as well that I will get to here. It's just one of those things that I'm not starting until I get a couple of other things done. It's okay. I'm just going to trim both these down a little bit. Nice new blade you have there, Josh. You know what? Thanks for noticing, 949. Yeah. There we go. Excuse me, can you do this but better? You know what? I try, but it's still, I can't manage. Yes, I do have, I've got a C10 and then I've got 2 Bettys. And did I pick up? Yes, that is all right now. I had the deadbolt, but now I just have those 3. 1 Betty is still in the box. 1 is out of the box. Inside the box, outside the box. Always with the dental tools. I'm telling you, those dental tools are the best. Like, go on Amazon and pick up the variety pack for like $6. There's like 6 different ones in there, and they're freaking amazing. What motor ESC do you have going in that dragster? So currently I've got the Tekin RS Pro Black for the ESC, and my motor is a 4.5 Tekin Eliminator. So that is my current setup. And I've got the Tekin Hotwire here on this side, which is the little Bluetooth interface. So you can do tuning from your phone or Bluetooth laptop, or you can plug it in to your laptop with a regular USB cable. But if you want, you leave it in the car like that so that you can tune it via wireless. Ooh. You need to convert an S624 to a speedrun truck like the TRX6. See how fast you can make it go. See if we can hit 6. I can hear those worm gears crying right now. Speed running and worm gears. Sounds like I might as well use tracks while I'm at it. When you get serious, Tegan. So the I mean the Tegan stuff is what a lot of the local guys are running. They know how to tune them. They know how to, So I went with them, and there's some new Tegan firmware you can run that has got some crazy features in it. Also, I have not put it on yet. There's a Tegan drag racing group. It's ran by Tegan, and they're super helpful with tuning information and all that. So highly recommend if you are thinking about doing more of it and you want to get some good info. The Campbells, the owners of Tegan, are in there helping with great info. So, yeah, I got to figure. I remember all of these are supposed to go the same way. These don't seem to have like those same markings on them. That's that way. Just have to go by the look of the threads. Oh, I should be using different pliers. What's the best way to attach things to a 3/16 round rod tube chassis after it's been powder coated, not looking to zip tie? In that situation, Cody, I use, do I have it in here? I don't, it's in the garage. But do I have a rig in here that I have used it on? So it's going to be real hard to see, but I guess that's the point. So if you look up in like this corner here, see that very fine wire right there in that corner, and then down here on the A-pillar, that's called jeweler's wire or floral wire. You can get a small roll of it like at Hobby Lobby for $5 or $6. I've had the same roll for probably 10 years. You cut a small piece, you take it and you kind of twist it with a pair of needle nose and you cut it short, and it keeps stuff. You can do it for body panels, wires, all kinds of stuff like that. And it just super clean, super tight. You don't notice it. It looks way better than zip ties. It's my favorite thing to use. Don't twist it too hard because you will cut through things, but it's also soft enough that it will usually break first. So yeah, let's see what else. Can't wait till Wednesday. Got a Furry Tech waterproof Tegu with Bluetooth showing up. What is that? Jolly Green Giant, please explain what that means. I do not know what any of that means. Dana Overland, appreciate it. John Highfill, thank you, sir. Hey Josh, what size servo arm is suggested for the VS410 for best steering? It seems like I don't have that much turning radius on my rig and my wife's rig. We both have I just run a 20 mil. Make sure that your endpoints are turned up all the way. If you're getting there, the knuckles, you'll see that the knuckles should come all the way over and then just like fit tightly against the servo or against the axle housing. So it should get like right. It's like right to, God, I can't remember. It's like 50 or 51, but basically it'll come over and they'll sit perfectly flush against the axle housing. So that's how you'll know if your servo is turning enough. Every servo is a little different, but still, yeah. Glue it, cleaner. Glue is not reliable, especially if you're driving hard. Do not glue it. It's a new ESC. Okay. Which crawler, as a beginner, like to crawl and bounce? Bouncing is such a tough one to try and. I mean, you could do an axial bomber. That's if you're really wanting to do bouncing. You're not going to find a rig that does both great. That's just kind of how it is. You're going to find one that doesn't do either very well, or it just does it okay. The bomber is probably going to be your best kind of mid ground to be able to do both. It's still solid axle, a little bit larger wheel and tire. Take off the rear spare. You're going to have to put more power to it, but I've got a whole budget build series on the bomber as well. Bomber for crawling and yeah, I was gonna say it's just Jolly Green Giant. It won't let you post links in the chat. It'll block them, but you can send it to me on Instagram, and I'll check that out. I've never heard of that, so I wouldn't mind checking it out. There we go. After I do all of these changes, I'm definitely gonna have to put this thing on a setup board and try and get it all squared up. That's for sure. Ooh, these new wheel nuts are fancy. I really wasn't going for like a blue theme, but everything really turned out pretty well in blue. I'm all race car like. Let's see. Yeah, send it to him. Yeah, on Instagram it would be perfect. Don't forget to, yeah, if you're watching, hit the like button. If you enjoy it, it helps. I've got my grandma on speed dial. That's my Instagram. God. Oh, let's see. So we've got, I still need to limit my front shocks. I still have like full buggy travel on them, which is not needed in drag racing. But I do think I'm going to swap out these shock bodies to some threaded ones. So at this point, why? I'm going to get the associated caps, the associated threaded shock bodies, some of the different stuff there, get it cleaned up a little bit. Oh, I'm dropping frames. Hopefully that picks up. Imagine that, a race car that looks like a race car. I really wish that the wheelie bars were like a quick disconnect so that you didn't have to work around them on the bench, swinging them around all the time. Oof. Buffeting. We'll let this kick back before jumping back in. Man, these wheel nuts are super tight to these Proline wheels. Let's see. There we go. Work my back. Sorry, just waiting for frames to kick back in. I think we're finally leveled back out. So sorry about that. Big red bitch XJ. What's the situation with VS410 Pro? Any idea when they'll be back in stock? So basically, we've had them in stock, out of stock, in stock, out of stock constantly for the last week or so because we just started shipping them again. We got more in, and we've been packaging all of our parts into them. So that's what takes so long, is that once we get the parts that we have done overseas, they come in and we have to do all the parts we had here, repackage, get everything ready, and then go out. So basically, just like every day, we'll get some more up, and then they kind of go out. But trying to fix that, and I may have a solution for that on the website this week. So that is something that I'm also working on. So that way I can get people. What I'm talking about is, like, we don't normally do back order stuff, but I can select. I have the ability to selectively do it at this point, and kits would be the first thing that I did that on. So that's why I'm saying I might have a solution for that, so that people don't have to keep checking the website constantly. Now, that won't work for all products, but for the VS410 Pro, it's one that I think I could get knocked out. Brian Sherwood, thank you, sir. STL Thursday will add meaning to your day. You need the Willy bar. God. VS410 chassis is worth it. Yes, it is. I'm not sure it was probably responding to another question, but I think I should just confirm that you are correct. It is worth it. So that. Installing a massive VP order on my SMT10 today. Got to make it reliable somehow. Only thing left, not VP or incision, is the cage, skid, and shocks. I like it. I like it already. Josh, there's 3D design. Quick disconnect for the wheelie bar. Now, I did design my own mount for this wheelie bar in the back, because I wanted to use the Exotech aluminum motor cage that I had put on here. So I machined a combination of Delrin and 3D printing and carbon fiber parts to make this like super crazy rigid setup, and it worked out so well. While I was doing that, I also machined a rear extended body post setup. I love how, what do you call it? What's the, not big flex, but like humble brag. I love having that CNC at home. It's so handy. I just need a VS410 front axle to complete my build. Andrew, I wish I could help you there for sure. Any reason the VS410 chassis kit went up $20 on Amazon, shipped through Rapidware? Nope. It should have always just been, I don't know, what was the price before? Because we have map pricing, so like there should be a absolute minimum price it should ever be shown at. Beyond that, I have no idea. And we don't handle Amazon ourselves. That would only be a dealer or something like that. So I actually don't know that. Let's see. There's your Vanquish quick disconnect wheelie bar. Well, seeing if I can. There you go. Hey Josh, that Beat the Creek is in Kentucky. I think I've heard about that. When's the mini lathe come? I have a mini lathe, Dana. I've got a little Excel, it's like a 7x14 or something like that. And it's also very handy to have. It's not CNC though. So, Josh, remember the DIY you're getting. I'd have to remember that, Dale. 109 before, like your site, it went up to 129. Wow, Steve, that is I don't know. I do not have an answer for that. That's interesting. I have to check that out. It should have always been. I mean, if the prices are higher, that's up to whoever is selling them, because that's not something we haven't raised the prices. However, that's going to be a topic on the Scale News this week, is that I think we're going to start seeing people increase prices on a lot of parts, not just RC, but RC as well. I think you're going to start seeing something like kits and things like that. Say a kit has been $300 in the past. I think you're going to see them start going up to $300 or $350, even for a kit that's been on the market for a while, just because costs from overseas manufacturers and overseas steels, things like that, are going way up, and they're going to get their costs raised on them. And I think you're going to start seeing that, especially as the US dollar kind of is losing a little bit of value right now. I think you're going to see costs go up and up. So don't be surprised if you see things from, especially kits that are coming out of China, possibly at real low price points. I think those especially you could see going up. Does Vanquish make an underdrive gear for the original SCX10? I ordered a Vanquish VPS 8330 and it was not the right, it was too small. That is correct. Yes, we do. It is an incision gear, and I can't remember the part. I think the part number is like IRC 00283 or 284. But it is the 4313 gear set, and that would be an underdrive gear set for the original SCX10. If you come out to Badlands for Axial Fest, are you going to stop by the Hammer Shop? Hey, Nick, Trusty, I appreciate it. Yeah, if that's where you guys are at, I absolutely will. I got some very nice dead blow hammers from Trusty's. Super cool. So yeah, I had no idea that's where you guys were at. Definitely, because that might be one that I head out to. I wouldn't mind hitting that one up. I like going to the Midwest though. Midwest is my favorite. I'm also the not Axial Fest, but Rocas Roja in Rojo. I can't remember how they had it said. In Colorado is another big one I'm planning to make it out to. Got the Ranger body pre-ordered through Proline since Horizon is dumb and doesn't allow PayPal. Oh, they don't allow PayPal? I didn't know that. Interesting. I guess why going up? As far as prices going up, it's the a lot of the costs of raw materials are going up in China, and well, overseas in general. But the price of raw materials is going up, and the dollar is losing strength. So we can buy less of their dollars per our dollar. So their cost may always be $300, or so I'll call it 3,000 yen, whatever it is. And say before we could buy 10 of them per dollar. So it was, $300 would equal that 3,000. But now we can only buy 20 of them with our dollar. These are completely wrong numbers, just for example. But now we have to spend a lot more to buy that same value. And as their costs increase, it's a snowball effect of two things, and that's why prices are going to start going up. I think you'll see. Aluminum has gone nuts this year. Yep, aluminum prices also gone up. I've seen it go up already. Rebels on what I would like to, trying to collect a few things because it's going to be a topic for Scale News. But yeah. Just received a dealer update from Red Cat. All prices going up, margins are going down. There you go. There's another example. So what you're saying is buy kits now. Yes, you should buy RCs immediately. What company did you say you work for? I enjoy and watch your vlog. Hey, I appreciate it. I work at Vanquish Products. So let me know if you actually plan on coming out to Axial Fest Badlands. I'll take you out for some good pizza and beer. Done. Done and doner. I'm looking forward to Rocas Roja, local conveniences. Oh, for sure. And Denver's it's another one of our favorites. Horizon doesn't allow PayPal on pre-order. Okay, I see. Steel prices have gone more than doubled. Craziest market in history. Yeah. We are like an hour and a half away from Badlands, only like 20 minutes from the airport. Perfect. I've wanted a laser nut, the LMT, and the Rift, but all have significant initial release issues, in my humble opinion. We need release quality control fully back in place somehow. Oni, that is, I don't think anybody could argue with you on that. I think that all of them have had a clear issue, which is unfortunate in so many ways, of course. And I fully bet that Horizon feels the same in many ways, because talk about some of the biggest inconveniences, right? So, I would have my concerns as well. I don't think there's anything more to say about it. It's hopefully they, I don't know if they've all, I'm not 100% sure if all of those have come out of the same manufacturer or not. I know all of those were made in China. The LMT, the laser nut, and the axial rift. That is the first axial 10th scale that's been made in China. Excuse me. Apologize. I just wonder if that's been the same factory, and if so, if they're having these issues with materials that are not meeting the same standard that were shown during testing. Greetings from the Netherlands. Thanks for checking in. Is your company an RC company? It is mainly like scale off-road, like crawler style, like that one there, and that's the only one in here right now. Oh, those two. That's an Ultra up there, and that's a Pro. So, yes. Finally finishing my paper. I think it's time to go install the dig in the VS410. I finally was able to get a hold of... Yes, nice. The VFDs, yeah, we've been making a bunch of them lately and trying to get them on the site. A winch is next, and then I think it will be done. You know, the winch, I put the winch in the VS410 flat rail, or not VS410, Jesus. I'm tired still. It's been a weekend, right? In the brazen scale build, and I used the same winch that I normally use in my VS410s. So I've got one in that. Actually, I stole the one that was supposed to go in that, and I put it in that one there. And I don't always enjoy winching, but in competition only, I'm like, okay, I'm up for it. I'm in the same boat. Horizon Drop. Yeah, it's unfortunate, and they do have a plan in place for the Rift. I talked to them this week about it. You know, they've got revised axle housings, and they have a customer service plan. So they expressed that to me. Something I'm gonna put in the news. So, hey Josh, thanks for the recommendation on Incision shocks. Put them in my UMG 10. What a difference! Hey, congrats, good deal. Hopefully everything works out well for you. It should be good and smooth. I want an LMT holding off for now too. Yeah, that's. Who's putting on Rocas Roja? I can't find any info on it. It is put on by the Crawl Space. I've got a link to it in the last Scale News update. If you go to that video, in the description, there'll be a link to the Facebook page where all the info for that is being put on. Global shipping crisis has caused a huge impact on overseas shipping. More product than containers. Good article in the New York Times about it. Yeah, I read an article the other day actually as well about the port of Long Beach down in LA, for those don't know where Long Beach is, but and the backup of ships trying to get into the port is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Ships that have been waiting since like January in anchor, trying to just get in line and get their stuff unloaded. Or there's been a long line since January. I can't remember exactly. So yeah, it's crazy. Sounds like Axon needs to find another factory. I don't know that it's the same factory. I don't know that at all. I'm just wondering. Without getting political, perhaps it's time to stop using Chinese factories too much. That's a hard one. I agree. I mean, even for like Vanquish, we make most of the value of the VS410 comes from parts made in the US, but the cost to do like all of the molding and everything in the US would make that kit even more expensive than it is currently. And I just don't know that our market would support it. And I think that's the problem. Like, if people want to start paying $1,000 for an SCX10 II, that's it's the type of difference we're looking at for a lot of this stuff. The TGH Holmes winch on 4S is nutty. Yes, Brazen Scale, I saw when we were out at the lake last weekend, and Brett there was using that winch on 4S, and it was crazy fast. And I think he said he had the fast gears in it. I think if I was running that winch, I would absolutely be running the slower gear set just to try and keep it under control. Brian Gailey, thoughts on the TRX6? It's a beast. If you're looking for a 6x6, I don't think that there's any better 6x6. If you like the style and you like everything about, then that's great. It's the way to. I had mine and turned it into a speed machine, which there was a whole series on if you haven't watched it, called the Monthly Mayhem TRX6 OMG 63. And I made one go 65 miles an hour with a lot of other stuff on it. So yeah, worked out great. But beyond that, TRX6, absolute animal. Fantastic 6x6. Chibs, dumb question. Is there a way to make a DIY bind plug for a Spectrum receiver? Yeah, I mean, it's just looping to the two outside wires. I've seen people do it with a pair of needle nose pliers even. There's nothing else about that. So, but I don't run Spectrum, so I don't really know anything else about it. But yeah, it's just connecting the two outside pins on the bind plug. So, must have more coffee. I agree. I've not had enough. Anyone know if the LMT is shipping with a new webbed axle yet, or just on the customer to buy once the initial? That's a great question, because they would likely have to run through any of the stock that they had on hand. It's a good idea. Did anyone see OMGRC's modified CEN Racing F450? He lifted it and put monster truck wheels and tires on it. Oh my God. I've not seen that. Any good-looking, cheap Lexan bodies for an SCX10 II? Not that I know of. I mean, Lexan, there's another thing. Lexan prices are way up. So do not expect to see Lexan bodies getting any cheaper in the coming future. Yeah, that's another one that costs are going crazy high on. For every VS410 I buy, I'll get a repair. Yeah, like if we start doing everything in the US. The PowerShift Roadrunner winch is super fast. I can't imagine faster being controlled. So I'm running the PowerShift 200, which is a little stubby, shorty thing. Still plenty of power, and it does fantastic. Normal people don't understand what it costs to do injection molding. It's outrageous. Even our hot cast molds cost $5,000 to $7,000 each. Yeah, I mean, and just buying injection molding machines in general, what those actually cost is, and that's why it's cheaper than injection, and that's way cheaper than injection molding molds. Yeah, is hot cast molding, is that kind of like rotational molding, Nick? I don't know as much about hot cast. Will you make any of your TRX6 print files available? I could, but most of the print stuff on that was like in combination with machined stuff. So I mean, it would be hard for me to, or it would be hard to like make that usable for people just with printing. That's an interesting question. I make external mounted bind buttons for the Spectrum gear. Oh, I've never seen that, Phillips. For what it's worth, the front axle on the Rift looked like it had been changed. You can see the use on the heads that you normally wouldn't see. That's interesting. I wonder. I haven't heard of anything like that happening, Dana. I wonder if you just got one that had to get worked on for another reason. Okay, somehow the RTR transmitter from the Baja Ray isn't binded to my RTR receiver. Go figure, I lost the included bind plug. Why do you think Tamiya hasn't changed a mold since the 80s? Yeah, no kidding. They talk about using their tooling for the life. Some good stuff. The 10.3 has some weird front-end geometry issues. New box models have too long of a panhard. 10.2 didn't have the issue. I haven't seen any of that. Tamiya making their money on molds for sure. Yeah. And I mean, Tamiya, I think they're almost all in-house. They own end-to-end. So that's not super common for RC, like the big, Horizon, like they don't own factories overseas. They work with factories overseas. So, like when someone says our overseas factory, they're just talking about like a factory that they work with, not one that they own. I don't know of, well, I take that back a little bit. In some ways, like Team Associated is partially owned by a company called TTS or Thunder Tiger, which is an overseas manufacturer. So they kind of have a factory overseas. Or they kind of own a factory, or they are own. So it's kind of like the same thing. So I guess that's a bit of a difference. They're kind of like a Tamiya in that way. Hotcast is pouring molten urethane with color and a hardener into a mold. Our urethane machines are about $250K each, and we have 4 of them, and still significant cheaper than injection. Yeah, injection molding is kind of a pretty cool situation. One of my friends ran a rotational molding facility in Kansas City, and that was cool to see. They put in like basically a powder into these big molds, and then the whole mold just gets heated up and it just rotates constantly, and the powder melts and then sticks to all the outside surfaces, and you take it out and you trim all the flashing off, and then you're left with basically the part on the inside. It's kind of a cool way to do it. I'd never seen it before. And best mold makers, machinists in the world work for Lego. Oh, yeah, Lego's got they've got a cool story and a lot of quality control and backstory. I mean, they're just hearing some of their processes is really, really impressive. It is definitely worth the watch. I think there's a couple documentaries on them. But yeah, just to make sure that every Lego ever made basically always can snap together and have that perfect press fit. It's so satisfying to build Legos. So I'm just throwing this hardware. I do not keep a lot of old hardware. It usually just gets thrown away. And I don't know why I'm just kind of fiddling around. So like I put this wheel on when I needed to still do the turnbuckles, and it is what it is. All right. So I'm gonna get the other 2 turnbuckles done on the front end of this. I still need to get some other stuff. Oh, the hex came off. I just kept screwing and it wasn't removing. Oops. There we go. I need a turnbuckle pop-off wrench. Or I need more practice, that's for sure. I gotta go shovel snow again. Oof, approaching 2 feet. I have not. Yeah. Have you ever ran this drag car? In this configuration, no. When it was a plastic tub chassis, yes. But since the new changeover with the new body and all that, I have not ran it. But before that. So once I get this all kind of sorted out, that's when we'll swap over to the, I'll get the new body mounted, which I showed earlier for those who weren't in here. Moose Jaw painted this for me. It's the Proline Cuda body. He hand painted my logo, patinaed it, hand cut lettering. It looks so good. The weathering looks great. I still have to put the decals in the grill, but he did an awesome job. And he sticker bombed it with Harley Smells and an SBG because he had to. But that'll get mounted as well. So looking forward to getting it all finished. Because then I have to race Moose Jaw for chicken wings. That's the rule. A new Harley business venture. Used hardware by the pound. Lego is what led me into RC. I mean, Lego and Connects were like my thing growing up. That was, I think Connects I had the most fun with though, because you could get things to move, and you could even make like torsion suspension and things like that. So I think, yeah, for that I had a lot of Legos. Honestly, Legos, Micro Machines, and Connects. Those were my favorite things. Okay. Is that, oops. Get this cleaned off. We need parts made from Lego plastics. When's the last time you saw a broken Lego? I thought Lego has like such a snap to it. Like, I don't know. I wonder. I don't know how that would actually go. I think it might be our use cases. It would be a good test though. Like, how, just to see, build it all out of Legos, see what holds up. Is that before the RCB collation or the 50? So probably, I think 50K will probably be first, because I'm probably going to have to make an audible on one thing, but other than that, the rig's pretty much done. So we'll get some paint knocked out and drop it on there, and we'll be done and call it good to go. Oops. Can you use a Vanquish chassis with a TRX4 Sport? I have built, so yes and no. You can, but at the same time, wow, I got that so close. The first shot. How did I do that? You can, but at the same time, it's you would have to change the transmission and everything because it doesn't all just bolt in the same. So it's not a super easy answer there. At least with a drag car going down track, your shins will be safe. Yeah, going away from me. I'm definitely not going to drive from the other one. Is Moose Jaw painting your side hack? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. What would be the price of RC hardware as scrap pounds? I don't know. Is that a new Milwaukee? It's newer. Had it for a little while. But I like it. It's one of the Fuel M12s. So other than I don't like the reversing switch gets kicked over just a tiny bit and it lights up like it wants to work, but you have to just ever so slight, kind of a pain there. Oh well. I've got a handful of some of the new Fuel stuff lately and been enjoying it. I had a Lego kit that had a motor and remote. I've seen some of those as well. I don't think that those existed as much when I was a kid, though. Micro Machines, I've still got a bunch in my parents' attic. My parents have moved so much lately. I'm not sure where mine are. I have broken Lego in the past, but only the long flat parts. You need to get the TJH turnbuckle tool. I have that. Where's it at? I have it, but I don't think it works with this style. It does not. That works with our regular rod ends. And I use it all the time. I really like this thing. But it doesn't work as well with this type of ball cup. Pop. Ooh. Dale C. This is towards your wing race. Winner gets wings of their choice. Loser must do the 7-alarm hot wing challenge or similar burn your butt hot wings. You know what? I will gladly take that bet because I really enjoy overly spicy food. And did I get this the right way? No, wrong way. So I will take that bet, and Moose Jaw will have to accept the challenge. So, yeah, I eat all of the over hot, unenjoyable flavor wings. Go. I'll see if Moose Jaw is up. The thing is that Moose Jaw likely has, he likely will take it because he has driven his car a significant amount more than me, since I've driven this one never, as like it sits. Yeah, so I'm guessing he would take it, and then I would end up the one in pain. Which is what everyone would really want to see anyway, right? They don't want to see somebody else uncomfortable. All right. Pop off. What car is this? This started as an Associated, and we have converted it with a Undercover Drag Wings Renegade chassis. Come on. Undercover Drag Wings Renegade chassis to this type of drag car. I don't really know what you call it. Eating of the Wings, new live show for Wednesday. I think it should have to be right after we race. Like they're sitting there ready to go. Loser has to consume. Are you doing best 2 out of 3 or 1 and done? You know, Matt, best 2 out of 3 is probably the right call. With a lot of coaching and because we all know that oftentimes, or anybody who watches much RC drag racing, there is a lot of times where these cars do not make a straight pass. So we should have to get at least one good race in, right? And I also have a, what is it, Proline, the Tough Nova. And that is, I want to get that body mounted up as well. Just because I don't want to, like, during normal, like, testing, I really don't want to completely destroy this beautiful body. So I figure if I threw the tough color one on there. Any plans to play with the low-C drag car? The low-C drag car, man, maybe? I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided because I already have one drag car that is really nice and that I already don't drive enough. So I feel like I should just play with this one for a little while and then maybe decide from there. I wouldn't mind seeing Matt do this challenge too. If he had the timer thing you were talking about, he should join in on the action. You know what though? I don't know if I trust him. He could fake it with video editing. You never know with him. Sneaky Canadian. So that's the tough part. Maybe we'd have to make him do it live on Instagram with the timer. Except then he could complain about the track surface not being right, and it just seems like we're giving Matt so many excuses. Matt will hit a curve. Do you think Traxxas will make a drag car? I would have bet anything that they would have already. I mean, they have all of the parts that people use their cars already. Like, it's already such a popular... All they would need to do is mold a body and some new tires. Like, they could have it done. Traxxas capitalizes usually on being able to repurpose parts for... I don't understand why they haven't. So... What RC would Matt put the GPS tracker in? He started with the same thing that I did. We both started with the associated DB10s and converted them into drag cars a while ago. So he would have and he got his new Tekin. He got the same motor as I'm running. He got it last week. So. Is all-wheel drive no prep a thing? It is, well, no. There is what they call the, it depends on where you're at. They call it different things in different places. But they have like the unlimited class or outlaw class, depending on where you're at. And those are basically run what you brung. So lots of X-Maxes and Armas, Typhoons, all that kind of stuff. So it is a thing. Just depends on where you're at. And if it's but not in like the normal classes, not the short course based no prep. There we go. All right. No, I think there it is. Okay. These dog bones look good. Super beefy. Now that would be a good Top Gear. Matt Moose John, myself. It'd be helpful if Matt was closer. We could actually make him do things. Canada, stupid rules. On a censored motor with a Mamba X, do you set it up censored only or smart sense? Chibs, I do a lot of smart sense. I think that from what I remember, it runs a little bit more efficiently in the top end. But I've ran it both ways. Traxxas is not known for entering existing race classes, though. They would bring a funny car back out before they would build an out-of-the-box no-prep RC legal / base car. I know what you mean, and that is true in a lot of ways. So it's hard to say. Small channel lock pliers work best for... You know what? And I bought those brand new, super tiny small channel locks, but I didn't bring them home yet. I left them at the office. Actually, I think I put them in my backpack. So I think they are here. I need to go get those. We used to drag race all-wheel drive touring cars. I mean, guys will drag race just about anything, right? LOL Typhoon. What's wrong with the Typhoon? Isn't that the thing? Creighton, Typhoon. Aren't those all basically the same damn thing? With associated and loosely offering one, I feel Traxxas will jump on the back. I don't know. I mean, saying they don't, well, you're saying race classes. I was say, because they jumped in the scale world after, 10 years or whatever. But I have a 1/8 monster powered /4x4 that would be scary if I stuck it to the road. Phoenix is Josh is Jeremy, Moose Jaws Hammond, Matt Captain Slow. Ooh, I can see that. Speed and power. We got the new ESC for the Limitless here as well. It's funny when you see the size difference between the Tekin ESC in there and my new Limitless ESC. Like, that is impressive. No prep tuck. I am on board for a no prep tuck. 100%. SmartSense drops the sensor after a set RPM to allow higher RPM, higher top end fish. Yes, that's what I thought as well. So that's what I have usually ran. Let's see. Call Michael Scott. He can go in the office and get you what you need. Yeah. How hard can it be? It's pronounced Typhon, not typhoon. Sorry. What? Typhon? How is it a typhon? A typhon is a mythical creature which the car was named. Oh, really? It's not called. There's only one O in the name of it? I never noticed that. I always just thought it was. I guess I've never owned one. I always just thought it was spelled typhoon. Huh. I was unaware of that. What do you know? Learn something every day. No prep drags between tuck and dual riders. Ooh. I think that I know for a fact that my tuck would win that because the dual rider, dancing rider, has got that passive front end. So there's nothing actually controlling the front end of those cars, and it's just a spring. And they get bad tank slap at like 15 miles an hour. Because I've seen people use the like brushless systems, and then they'll start going, and they just all of a sudden they just tumble everywhere. Josh just emailed you the Red Cat price update. Hey, thanks, Brian. I'll take a look at that. XLX2, the fire breather. Make sure you do the update. I have heard about that. I just ordered this, and I ordered it direct from Castle, so I believe that it is already updated. But I will still do the update because I've heard the same. Put bump stops in your front shocks. You'll thank me later. Tim, we talked about that a little while ago. Yeah, because I've still got these set up full buggy, but I'm doing the threaded shock bodies. So at that time, I'll limit them down to just a tiny bit of travel. But yes, fully agree. Definitely don't need the full race buggy travel. Sounds like it needs more caster. Yeah, I guess more or is it caster? No, it's in a motorcycle style front end. That's rake. So you have rake and trail on like a bike style. So I think it would need more rake to be more stable at speed. Something like that. I don't remember. So what you're saying is that the next monthly mayhem, fastest trap speed on dual riders. Oh, I would love to do that. And could you direct drive a drag car? Totally eliminate any gearing. I mean, any gearing? Well, I mean, you need something to transfer from, being in line with the motor to in line with axles. Like, and yes, you could. It wouldn't be against the rules, but I think where they're seeing the efficiency of these motors and everything work best is with an amount of gearing, and you want the adjustability. So I think that it's been found that they like some reduction. Only Delta Wine motors over 2000 kV. I don't know what. I think I went with a 1750 kV TP power motor. What did I do? I don't remember now. I'm pretty sure I did 1750 though. So, great big old motor, great big old ESC. Why not? Sounds like it will be. Going fast should be fun. Design new triple trees for the Tamiya Dancing Rider line at VP. Yeah, I think that would be. Leave front suspension like it, make it a gasser. Pushing it, Chibs. You know my feelings on gassers. 11:47. We're going to go for about 15 minutes, and then we're going to cut this stream off. Early RC drag racing was a direct drive like a pan car. The ESC would dump all the battery voltage to the motor all at once. I suppose, especially in the different days of batteries, because yeah, I mean, some of the, like, what do they call them, one cell cars and things like that. The pro mods and the dragsters that they run now. I think those are still, kind of direct drive, but it still runs a spur and pinion setup, pan car style. So there's still some gearing, but Josh, I don't know the rules and regs. Could you run dual motor with direct drive? I don't know that either. I would imagine, as far as I know, I don't think there's anything. Other than that, it says that they need to be short course based, but I don't know if that would, I don't know. I don't think that there's anything. Do you know the Top Fuel dragster body from Bowlink? I do not. I think, didn't Bowlink just sell? I think Bowlink sold, or no, what was that? No, that was one of the, I don't remember. One of the other ones. You're going to, what time do you start on Sundays? I've been starting at 10 a.m. on Sundays, unless I had something going on in the morning, and then I do 6 p.m. So it hasn't been super consistent, but I try and do 10 a.m. This week, though, coming up, Friday and Sunday both probably won't have live streams because Scale Nationals is happening down in Vegas. And I'm planning to go down to that. So probably no live stream those 2 days. Well, definitely, I don't think anyway, unless I miraculously figure out some sort of setup down there, but I'm not holding my breath for that. Never count on internet in the middle of nowhere. There's a 1/5 scale RC buggy that uses brushless motors as the rear wheels. I see it. Oh yeah, I have seen those. I've seen that setup before. It's pretty interesting. 140 miles an hour all day with that setup. Joe, I am hoping I would like to hit in the 120s. That is my goal for that Limitless. Is in the 120. If I could crack 130, as all I'm hoping for. I do not have any aspirations of going much faster than that, but until I start doing it, right? That's always the thought. But what I'd really like to do is do 120 or so. I'm running the numbers for RPM needed now. Working on a motor and ESC swap on my SCX-10 and my Wraith. The Wraith was always a bit more of a hassle. Hello from RJ Speed just sold. Yes. That was which is Bowlink renamed. Is that true? RJ Speed is Bowlink renamed? No live interviews at Scale Nationals during your normal slot. You mean do live interviews? Because then I... Oh, yeah. See, Matt comes in at the end to start pumping his live... Yes. His live stream starting here shortly, right after this one is done. Because like I said, I'm going to cut off here 10 minutes. And then you can go... You can... After you've used up all of your live stream energy, you can go over to... Go watch Matt build his VS410 Pro for that beautiful Westmade LS Post body that he's got, because that's going to be pretty awesome. Did you know in Top Fuel Drag, the supercharger takes 700 horsepower to turn? Yes. I've heard crazy numbers. I can never remember what the latest one is. Bowlink, 2 RJ speed, and they sold to someone. Interesting. Are you going to bust on Matt in a few? Oh yeah, I think that there'll be plenty of ribbing that I can. Granted, he'll be building a VS410 Pro, so I'll have to be somewhat nice until the speed addiction gets to you. I can see that. Just going fast with the only thing I've ever tried to go fast with were things that weren't supposed to go fast. So I don't really even know how to. I don't even know how that Limitless is gonna. When it's just made to do that, seems like cheating. Just FYI, you have been volunteered to participate in an RC drag race. Loser eats super hot wings. Yes, Matt. I'll have to tell you what you've been committed to shortly. For those of you who are still here, make sure to hit the like button before you leave, or right when you leave. Either way, same thing, same difference. With a 500 kV motor on a 2S. It's good for 60 miles an hour with 4.15 Proline drag tire. Are these only 4.15? I feel like they're taller than that. So let's cut this thing off. Give everybody a few minutes to, run to the restroom, get ready for Matt's live stream while he builds a VS410 Pro. But that's going to do it for this one. Thanks everybody for hanging out on a Sunday. Good times. More work to be done with the drag car, and I'm going to keep tinkering a little bit while I watch Matt build things on his side. So thanks again, everybody. Hit the like button on your way out, and we will see you next time.